In 2013, Oxford dubbed the selfie the word of the year. And they defined selfie as a photograph that one has taken of oneself, typically with a smartphone or webcam, and shared via social media. I think this definition is too narrow. Although it states that you can take a selfie with any kind of camera, it demands that it must be uploaded. So, according to this definition, a selfie isn't a selfie if you never share it. Furthermore, to go on, the word origin states that selfie is derived from the root self plus the diminutive, and I quote, IE, which makes an essentially narcissistic exercise into something rather more endearing.
We create, view, and share data every day. And an easy way to see this is with photos. So for example, if you're curious what it looks like up here, I can actually take a photo. So everybody do like a goofy pose or wave or something like that. Ready? So there's an event, I documented it, and I can share it. Now that was a selfie photo that I took. And a lot of people think selfies are selfish, right? But what if in the future, could sharing our selfies actually save us?
Now, identity is this really interesting thing. From a psychological perspective, it's actually core to our sense of emotional well-being. When we have a strong sense of who we are, we take more risks, we come out of our comfort zone, we stand up for what we believe in. It gives us a sense of entitlement over who we are, but it also gives us a sense of affiliation, and that's the interesting thing, because identity is at the same time the thing that makes us unique and the things that binds us together with others. And the interesting thing is that for identity to really work, it needs to be recognized and confirmed by those around us. The issue is these days, those around us aren't just people that know us. There's this wider social circle online that are able to feed back to us without having any knowledge of who we are. Now, in terms of how we construct identity, in its basis form, we look at who we are, and then we look to the world around us. We look to our parents and our communities. We look to celebrities. We look to structures like race and religion and their norms, and we devise who we want to be. And once we've done that, we hold it up for people to see. And up until now, who are we holding up these identities to? To people that knew us, to our friends, to our families, to our communities. And they kind of acted like mirrors, right? So they'd reflect back on us saying, okay, I see who you are because I know who you are, and I see what you're trying to construct, and this is what I'm reflecting back to you. So it resulted in a kind of affirmation of identity. Now our social worlds have expanded dramatically. Someone doesn't need to know you to feed back to you on what they think of your identity. Someone doesn't even need to have ever met you, come in contact with you. Now, because of the online world, it's like having a global focus group commenting on every step you make, every move, every decision. And as a consequence, this sense of self-awareness is very evident. I did some work a few years ago for the Home Office on the sexualization of young people. And I spoke to some brilliant researchers that were looking at the web pages of young people. And they were saying to me, do you know what, Linda, it's so strange because all the girls' pages look almost identical and all the boys do. It's as if they have these scripts of how they should act. So the boys' pages, they were very kind of hyper-masculine, very kind of emotionally distant. For girls, extremely hypersexualized, all about the need to look a certain way. It's like these kids weren't saying, this is me. It's like they were trying to answer the question, who do I need to be liked by you?
Identity is defined as the understanding, awareness, and appreciation of oneself. In social psychology, we often refer to 4 fundamental psychosocial needs that are required for well-being. These include self-esteem, belonging, a meaningful existence, and control. Today I'd like to talk about how selfies fulfill each of these psychosocial needs and how different selfies can fulfill different needs. Self-esteem is the need we have to feel good about ourselves. As I already demonstrated in some of the earlier selfies, we snap selfies when we're feeling good, looking good, being good. We capture a moment in time and an emotion that we can tap into later. These include personal accomplishment selfies, fashion selfies, or any selfie where you think to yourself, that was a good day.
So the moment my therapist said to me, "You need to learn to love yourself more," this was truly the moment my journey to self-love began. I've been so inspired by the ideas and the concepts of loving yourself and accepting yourself that I've researched and written about it over the years. One article I wrote in particular got a lot of momentum, and I was really excited about it. Almost immediately after posting it online, the comments started rolling in, and they went something like this. "Just what we need, more narcissists in the world. The problem with America is that too many people love themselves. Ugh." Or this one, "Do not listen to her. She's just promoting obesity and disguising it with positivity and self-love." Or my favorite one, and this is how I'm envisioning them saying it. "At Lindsay Smith HHC, how many calories are in self-love? Hashtag not a nutrient." I really wanted to be like, hashtag missing the point. And while I can laugh about this now, I assure you that at the time, I completely felt derailed. Here I was preaching the self-love gospel all these years, and in this moment, I questioned everything, and I thought to myself, is it narcissistic to love yourself? Wait, was I a narcissist? Was I just teaching other people how to be narcissists themselves? And was my therapist just full of shit this entire time? There were so many questions I had. And as much as I wanted to be sad and upset and find that lime green sweatsuit to hide behind, I instead decided to tackle this issue head on. So I went out and I interviewed and I researched therapists, doctors, and mental health professionals. And while most of my research, especially online, people would define narcissism as a, quote, excess of self-love. But I found this to be dangerously untrue. I found that we are in fact so far removed from self-love that we're actually confusing it with narcissism. And I get it. We live in a digital age, a day where over 1 million selfies are taken on a daily basis, okay? So one could say that we are self-absorbed and narcissistic. There's actually been several studies done between narcissism and selfies, and they have found a direct correlation between the two. But even when you break down a selfie, you realize the true difference between self-love and narcissism.
We don't just take selfies, we make selfies. And in that distinction, we have the opportunity to reclaim selfies as art and as an opportunity for mindful self-reflection. I call this self-engagement through digital self-portraiture a healthy selfie. On that note, maybe I'll add an IE to make it more endearing. So then the question is, what is a healthy selfie? Well, first of all, a healthy selfie is a form of self-reflection and journaling. Use your selfies to document your own life, and don't worry if other people say, oh, you share too much of this or too much of that on your page. Your social media is about you. And your digital history can be just as exciting as any book or movie or TV show. Healthy selfies are also about self-appreciation, not self-objectification. When our self-worth is connected to how many likes we get online, then our favorite self-portrait can become a negative reflection of ourselves. Take and make selfies that you like and you appreciate, and don't delete them if they don't get likes. Thirdly, healthy selfies are art. I take a poll every year in my class, and I ask my students, how many of you consider yourselves photographers? And about 10% raise their hand. But all of them have taken, edited, and posted a picture in the past week. When I ask them, they say they don't feel like photographers because they are not making effortful photography. They're simply snapping and posting. However, when that becomes the strategy with ourselves and our own lives, then we simply become an object to be photographed. As I said, the beauty of art is the opportunity for mindful self-reflection. Healthy selfies are not perfect because people are not perfect. For the past 20 years, I've been using selfies to explore my own imperfections and appreciate them. Use your selfies to find your flaws and figure out what makes you, you. My last point, healthy selfies are shared judiciously. At the start of this talk, I asked you to think about selfies independent of the internet. But the truth is that selfie would not have been the word of the year were it not for social media. We love sharing our stories and our lives. However, contrary to Oxford's definition, not all selfies need to be shared. There are the selfies that we easily share, maybe pet selfies, and the selfies we keep just for ourselves, maybe sexy selfies. But most importantly, the selfies you make for yourself are the most valuable. Thank you.